Okay, we are live. Hello, world. Welcome to our June Stitch and Bitch. My name is Bree. Welcome to my channel. This is Bree Reads Books, and I am the host for the month of June. I keep wanting to say July, but it is not, in fact, July.
Yeah.
For those of you who it's your first time here, we talk all things nerdy while we knit. And I'm going to hand it over to my co-hosts to introduce themselves. Do you want to start with Di?
Sure. My name is Diana. My channel is Bookish Di, where I talk about whatever I'm reading. And apologies in advance if you all can hear a fan whirring on my end. It is disgustingly hot in the Pacific Northwest today, and I am doing my best to stay cool. Ava!
If it's any consolation, I can't hear it at all.
Yeah, I can't hear anything either, so it's good.
Awesome.
Okay. Rhea?
Cool.
Yes, I am Rhea from the channel The Bookfinch. It is not as swelteringly hot in Finland as it is in where Di is, but it's still pretty gross. So I also have a fan going on, and there may be some exhausted puddles of kitties joining us later, but for the most part, they will probably also be enjoying various forms of AC that we have available.
Nice. Rachel?
Yeah, my name is Rachel. My channel is Kalanati, where I talk about all the books. And this dog is Ava, and she's very scared of something that may not actually exist.
Ava is the cutest.
We do love Ava.
She's just panting right now and trembling. She's like shaking the table.
Poor Ava.
Yeah, so welcome. Hi to everyone in the chat. We've got E, we've got Shannon, we've got KJ and Joe.
Hello, everybody.
And I'm missing RK is here. So hello, everyone.
Hello, everyone.
Shannon, I do not have AC. I have a DIY MacGyvered thing where I bought a foam cooler and I cut holes in it, one for a PVC pipe, one for my fan, and it's filled with ice in an ice pack, and it is blowing out cold air. And then I have my tower fan situated in front of it, so the tower fan is then blowing the cold air at me. So I have two fans going.
We've got a swamp cooler.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think anyone here is envious of that situation. It has been muggy here in Minnesota, but we have had a little bit of rain the last 24 hours. And so it is finally starting to feel like I am not walking through a swamp, which is lovely.
Get hit with that same storm system that got Chicago and Detroit?
Yeah, but we got the tail end. It barely is hitting us.
Okay.
What's everyone working on right now?
I am back to working on last year's book blanket because I still need to work on the sleeves for my sweater, and I just don't want to deal with that right now. So
Fair enough.
I am working on an alpaca. I just started it. I'm making the face right now.
An alpaca?
Yes, it's a little alpaca. What the pattern is by? Who is this pattern by? Lucy Ravenscar, Crochet Patterns.
I've heard of her. Is she the one who does all the really cool dragons, like the Eastern dragons and stuff?
Yes, and she has a lot of different sorts of amigurumi.
Oh, that's really cool.
So I'm making a cyber alpaca. It will have a mint green face, and then it will have a black body. And I'm using the rainbow UV light activated yarn from Third World Yarns for the hair that it will have, like a little
Ooh.
mohawk, like a fringe, and then I will make like laser cut glasses for it.
Oh, that's really cool.
It's gonna be a cyber alpaca.
I'm into it.
That's fun.
Yeah, I don't know nothing about cyber alpacas, but partner wanted one, so I'm making them a cyber alpaca. Apparently, it's an inside joke or something, but you know, I don't need further excuse to make another cute critter.
Yeah, I just got back from Joann's and had a little bit of a yarn splurge from some of the yarn that was reviewed over on TL Yarn Crafts for the beginning of summer because it went on clearance. So I'm trying to power through some stuff over here so I can get to that eventually.
I'm doing everything I can to not buy more yarn right now.
Fair.
I found like 3 new yarn shops in the past 2 weeks, and it's bad because I want everything.
My favorite yarn store just started carrying John Arbin Textiles yarn, and I'm like, oh no, I can't. I want to, but I can't.
Normally, I'm sad that my town doesn't have a yarn store, but it's also good right now because I think the closest yarn store is in the next town over, and I don't know how good it is. And like the good yarn stores are in Eugene, which is like 40 minutes to an hour, depending on traffic south of me. So it's like, if I want to go to a yarn store, I have to like really, really want to go to a yarn store.
Same.
Which is, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I can go to a yarn store easy. I am trying to avoid doing that because it have a lot of yarn.
I mean, I also have a lot of yarn, but I never seem to have like the right kind of yarn for any given project that I want to start.
Oh yeah.
Well, my
So-
oh, go ahead.
Yeah, it's just that even though I keep buying yarn for specific projects, like, okay, I'm gonna make this thing out of this yarn, still never have the right yarn for anything, apparently.
Yeah, right now I'm trying to finish at least one more project before I buy any more yarn because I finished the shawl that I was working on last time. Which, hold on, let me grab it. But like, I have to either finish the sweater or finally finish the Time Vortex hat that we all did last year.
Yes.
I still haven't done the brim. I've just been avoiding it. So I need to like finish those 2 projects before I am like, okay, time to buy yarn for something new, just because like I will buy the yarn and then just never make the thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, this is the final. I need to still block it and weave in the ends, but no, that's the wrong side.
Oh, that's pretty.
Oh, that
Oh,
yeah,
that's
that's
nice.
cool.
So pretty.
Very nice.
I'm very happy with how it came out. I just, like I said, need to.
And that's unblocked. That's not blocked yet.
It's not blocked yet.
It looks so good.
I have a couple of things I need to block, so I'm just waiting until it cools down a bit because I use my guest bed to block, and when I do, I have to keep the cats out. So I'm trying to wait until I have a couple of more things to do, just so I can get it all done at once.
That's very fair. Rachel, are you working on? You're not working on hedge maze while we're doing this, are you?
No, let me
I
go.
was
get
going to
it
say
and
you'd
show
be
it to you, though.
incredibly,
I'll go get that.
incredibly impressive. Hello, Becca. Hey, Angela. I did see you in the chat, just so you know.
I feel like I'm already miscounting this.
It will be okay. You shall survive.
I'm going to do a little show and tell because I have
Yes,
stuff.
do.
I am so jealous of you having started the hedge maze. I've been looking at the pattern online over and over and over, and oh my gosh.
Oh, that's so
You
pretty.
see that?
Oh,
It
that's
looks
so
so
nice.
It looks phenomenal.
I'm very
Ah,
happy with it. I was trying to use this
as you
yarn for a
should
different
be.
shawl, and I decided to do this one instead. So yeah, so that's that. It's getting to the point though where like it's that pie method. So you double the stitches in every section. So it starts out really fast. You're like, I have less than 100 stitches. I can get an entire section done in one evening. And then 2 days later, I'm like, oh my God, I have 400 stitches. This is going to take forever.
Yep.
So that is that. I also am incredibly proud I finished this other thing. I just want to show it quickly.
Oh, I want to see it.
Then my baby recently. See that?
Oh, that's pretty.
Oh, the texture. I love it.
Is it like drop sleeves? Like,
Yeah, it's like a cap sleeve.
yeah.
Thing. So yeah.
Is it like a cap sleeve with a dropped shoulder? Looks
Yeah.
like it.
Yeah, kind of. It's different because the shoulder seam is actually in the back. So you knit the shoulders up and over, and then there's a ton of seaming. I've been sitting on this for like 3 months, and I finished the whole back portion or the front portion and all the seaming in about a week. It's a thing, guys. So, but it came out pretty well.
I mean, I just watched the Cat's Costumery YouTube channel. She made a video about a Garibaldi shirt, and I sort of kind of went and got the unique vintage pattern for that shirt.
Oh,
because I want to make it. Now I just need money and linen.
yeah.
I know what I'm gonna buy from my first paycheck, I guess.
This is the other thing that I want to finish.
Oh, yeah.
Look at those
that's so
sleeves.
nice.
That's so pretty.
That's lovely.
I love that cabling.
I'm like 3 inches from the end of the other sleeve, and I ran out of yarn.
Oh, I hate that. I hate losing yarn chicken so much. It is my least favorite way to lose anything.
I thought I was gonna have to unravel my swatch, but I need so much more yarn. I can't get by doing that, so I have to order it.
Yeah.
So my Knit Picks order is incoming. But what I'm actually working on today during the live show is the Handsome Chris pullover.
Ugh.
So back to working on this.
How far are you up? Like 7 or 8 inches now?
It's got to be at least 8 inches now. Yeah. So there's basically like this 24 row repeat on the full charts, and I do a 24 row section, and then I have to put it down and let my fingers rest.
I bet.
So it's going to be a long-term project. It'll be done by winter, though.
Well, good. That's when you'll want it.
Yeah.
I am working on the Slipstravaganza blanket. So this is the back, but the front has these super cool.
Oh, cool.
Yes.
Oh, that's so nice.
Gorgeous.
This is
That looks
Stephen
like
West,
a
right?
bacteria.
A little bit. It has like a whole bunch of different sections. It'll continue to be like, in theory, it will be big enough to put on my like bed. We will see if I make it or if I chicken out and like end at the halfway point, because Stephen West is great and has like a halfway stopping point for people who get tired.
I mean, that just sounds reasonable. I mean, you could always make it a baby's blanket.
I could.
At least now you have a good excuse for stopping things or making miniature things.
True.
Yeah.
Like, it was meant to be this way. It was for the baby.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I still have my oh my gosh, Caitlin Hunter tee on needles. The lace work is too complicated for me to do on this, and I'm not yet past the lace work because I was at family stuff. And a lot of people are interested when you go to your family events with knitting. They all want to see it. They don't want to give you time to work on it.
I have I have decided against going to family events with any sort of crafting project, unless it's like sewing, because I'm the resident sewer in my family. But like I have so many knitting aunts, and they all have this tendency to see like, your tension is not right, your gauge is not right. Let me just unpick that for you so you can start again. And I'm like, no. Don't make me relive my elementary school trauma when my mother literally did that to everything I made.
Oh, no.
Like, that's how you learn. My mother did that to me as well. And I'm like, no.
My aunt used to tell me, this is mostly related because it's an aunt story, not because it's anyone pulling out my stuff story. She used to tell me that if I sewed on Sunday, when I went to heaven, I'd have to take out every stitch with my nose. So I don't know where she came up with that. That was just, I remember being like 8 years old on the porch being like, I'm going to do this to keep my hands busy. And she'd be like, you can't do that. You're going to have to take out every stitch with your nose when you go to heaven.
I mean,
What?
I mean, speaking of weird things that your like aunts and uncles and people tell you, like my aunt told me that if I didn't wash my hands regularly, white worms would start growing out of my skin.
That's horrifying.
Yes. I still like I believed her for a long time. I was obsessed with washing my hands every time, before dinner, after bathroom, before bathroom, like every time I was like, need to wash my hands. I mean, it's good practice to teach kids like basic hygiene, but at the same time, like, don't tell kids that worms will start growing from their bodies.
That's just disturbing. That's a really disturbing mental image.
Yes. Imagine me as a kid having those mental images.
Yeah, I there's probably a way to teach kids to wash their hands without saying something quite that traumatic, but yeah.
I mean, there was also that time when I still have a hard time going to woods, to the forest, because my uncle told me that if you get moose flies, they will crawl into your ear and lay eggs. And that is a thing that actually happens. Like they will just like, I can't even think about it. But nowadays, if I have to go pick berries or mushrooms in the forest, you will see me with like these like really tight caps and like hoods, so that none of my hair is ever visible, because I'm just so paranoid about things. And I always have like those like lice combs that you can pick your hair through.
I mean, we have really bad like ticks sometimes in Minnesota, and they will definitely crawl into your hair and like into any place that they can get to.
Yeah.
Oh Lord.
Yeah, this is gross. Maybe we should change the subject.
Yeah, so what is everybody reading? Who wants to go first?
I can go first. I finished Act Your Age, Eve Brown, yesterday, and I'm very sad to say it is my least favorite of the trilogy.
Oh no!
Like, I'm not saying that it's bad, but the setup didn't quite work for me. Like, I really enjoyed Eve and Jacob as characters, but I didn't like the setup, and I thought the pacing at the end wasn't super great. And I think especially because it felt like that bleak moment, you know, that a lot of romances have, where the main couple split. It felt like it came out of nowhere.
I mean, to be fair, when I read that book, that like, if I compare it to, like, Chloe Brown is still my favorite, but for me, Eve was like a close second. But I will say that the third act breakup in Act Your Age, Eve Brown made me so angry. it like I literally was like I was screaming because I was like, no, that is so like so many boundaries were crossed on so many levels, and it made me so mad.
Yeah, so like I'm not saying it's a bad book. Like I didn't actively dislike it like I did with A Sweet Mess, where at the point like when I finished it, it was finishing just to be like, how the like is it going to be as much of a mess? Like the ending is going to be as much of a mess as the rest of the book. This was more, I didn't particularly like the first part. I liked the middle, and I wasn't a big fan of the end. Like I still plan on reading the companion series that's coming out, but it was just like kind of, it was, like I said, it was not my favorite.
Do we know when the next book in that other series is coming out?
I think next year.
I was told that it's going to happen, but I haven't seen any information about it.
Is it about the Montrose family?
Yeah.
I saw some tweets from her about it, but I don't. And I think we got the sale announcement, but I haven't seen anything like concrete yet about when it's coming.
They were some of my favorite bits about the last book. I was like, I think that they're being set up for a spin-off.
Yeah, I like the sisters.
I cannot wait for Tessa and Alex's books because they are delightful.
I mean, I'm a sucker for a mechanic. Like mechanic trope is like I like it. I know nothing about cars or in like motorcycles or anything, but I just like I like that trope. That's sort of like the greasehead trope.
Somebody has mentioned Penric in the comments, which I have not started the Penric novel. Is it out yet? It's out. But
Yeah,
only-
The Assassins of Thassalon. It's been out for a little while.
Yeah.
I still haven't read it. I know.
I'm waiting to put it in physical because I know that Bujol lives in like my general area, and so I can get a signed one pretty easy. But my partner did listen to the first Penric book after me bugging him for months and months and months, and has really been enjoying it, which I love because I also very much enjoy them. As far as what I'm reading, I have just picked up, it's called Secondhand, and it is a nonfiction about kind of like the cycle of fast fashion, Goodwill, thrifting, Depop kind of stuff, which is, I'm hoping will be really interesting.
That was interesting, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I am currently still working on The Lost City of Z by David Gran, which is a nonfiction book. I'm confused by this book somewhat. It's called The Lost City of Z. It's supposed to be about like all the people who have been searching for this supposed civilization in the heart of the Amazon rainforest, and people keep going and not finding it and dying or disappearing. And it focuses on a specific guy, this man named Fawcett, who was he said that he knew where the lost city was, and he went into the Amazon in like 1925 and was never heard from again. In this book, I thought it was going to be about archaeology. It was going to be about like, what is this city really there? What evidence is there for it? And yeah, kind of on the side, what happened to this Fawcett guy? It is kind of a weird mishmash of a biography, but also a history of other explorers. Like Gran has to like mention every other major Victorian or Edwardian explorer of note, whether they were actually in South America or not. He's always going on tangents about what happened to people who worked for like one expedition with Fawcett. And then he's also writing his own travelogue because he's a completely inactive journalist from New York City who just decides he's going to pop over to the rainforest and walk around and try to find out what happened to this person. It's like, if there's one place in the world where you do not go unprepared, it's the Amazon rainforest.
Sounds about right.
I mean, that in Australia, like the Australian outback, like
Never go into the outback or a desert area, and don't go into a rainforest, especially when everything is poisonous.
Oh yay.
Like, it's confusing me. There are some interesting bits because I do find like that era of exploration and what it was like for the very last soul explorers before like aviation was a big thing and before like archaeology and stuff really replaced a lot of that.
To be
that was interesting. But I feel like the book doesn't have a point, and the whole thing is pitched as the search for the lost city of Z, which one, probably doesn't exist, and two, there are not going to be any answers. The whole thing is about this one mystery that nobody has ever solved, and the author isn't going to solve it either.
I mean, to be fair, the whole idea of going somewhere unprepared seems like a very Victorian thing to do.
Not necessarily, because the Victorian
or rather,
explorers,
a Victorian British explorer.
They actually packed stuff. They arranged funding. They weren't going by themselves, so they were trying to team up with other experts. They got multiple guides. They lugged supplies and stuff into the rainforest. This Fawcett guy, he knew what he was doing, and he had gone through like Survival Exploration Academy. He was literally like certified to do this. And so it boggles my mind how the author in like circa 2005 is just like walking into his local REI and saying, so I think I need to get some good boots.
Well, and like the boots that you would use in a rainforest setting are going to be different than the boots that you might use for, like, if he's in New York, like the Catskills or Appalachia, like you're going to want something like you're not going to want something super heavy.
Mm-hmm. And Shannon,
I don't think
he went into the rainforest completely alone, but he didn't arrange anything until the last minute. I've only gotten to the point where he actually went to South America, and he just like found one person who like is an amateur guide and is like, so here's a map from 1925. Do you think you could take me along this route? And the guy's like, I need to get on the ham radio and maybe contact some of the tribes to see if they won't kill you when we go in.
Glad he got at least that advice.
But wait. He doesn't get an answer from the tribes, but he decides to go anyway.
Oh, bad life choice.
Oh.
Bad life choice.
So I get the idea of obsession, and like the journalist himself falls for the hype, I think is my takeaway for this. But the fact is, I know that there isn't going to be an answer. So the book is not going to be building up to some grand conclusion or revelation. And there honestly isn't enough archaeology. Like there was like one section where he was trying to talk to somebody who was an archaeologist in this region where Fawcett disappeared at the Xingu area, and talked to him for a little bit, and he's done some really interesting investigations there. And then that section just ends, and that guy's never been mentioned again. So it's an interesting topic. I don't understand the point of the book, though. So my little rant is done.
I think that sounds pretty neat.
What even is counting?
Do you have mysterious stitches or mysterious missing stitches?
I have mysterious extra stitches. And also I'm following the pattern. Why is there like 4 extra stitches on this? Anyway, I'm reading, like I have been reading translate-a-thon things. I have been reading the Finnish edition of The Hobbit, which I I had completely forgotten how snippy everyone is to each other. Like sure, it's cozy and stuff, but also like Thorin, Gandalf, and Bilbo are just constantly at like complaining at each other, which
They're
is
kind of a little bit like old ladies, and you forget until you read it.
yeah, it's a complete old lady brigade up in here, which is like the Finnish translation is so weird because like if you grew up reading only the Finnish translation, you wouldn't like this whole idea of how Tolkien elves are supposed to be. Like the Finnish translation just completely access any sort of like appearance like descriptors and focuses more on the mood. Like it doesn't like it doesn't like if the elves are described as fair, the Finnish translation describes them as being beautiful.
Okay.
So
Which
it doesn't like
I can kind of
fair.
see
Yes.
happen.
Yeah. Fair and beautiful are like basically they're synonyms for each other, but fair can also mean light, which is probably where people take the idea of elves being like light and white and stuff. But if you read the Finnish translations, the elf could be anything. They're just beautiful. Unless you want to tell me that some people can't be beautiful.
I think I maybe prefer that though.
Yeah, I mean it's
not
nice.
necessarily very true to I think what Tolkien is going for, but
Probably not, but I mean I kind of prefer it. Everyone is a grumpy old man, and as a grumpy old man, I appreciate it. Also, now that Translate-a-thon ends after today, I can finally finish the Mad Ship. I have read this much. I still have this much to go, and it's so good. There are so many characters that I hate, and so many characters that I hate to love. Like it's I can't even describe this. This book is just a jolly good time, even when it's taking me to the worst possible journeys and introducing me to the worst possible situations. I am just having a very good time. Like, it's like this is probably the best Robin Hobb. Like, I like Farseer, but this is my jam. Like, I'm really loving the Life Ship Traders. Like, this is I can't. It's so good.
The only thing I remember from the first book that I read in that series is how much everybody hates Kyle or whatever his name is.
Kyle is the worst.
Yeah.
He is the absolute worst. I mean, Kyle is sort of like an Umbridge-like figure. That the reason you hate him is that there are so many people like Kyle in the real world that you have probably met someone like Kyle somewhere and hated him equally as much or hated them equally as much. Yeah. And if you haven't, then you can count your blessings and be lucky. You know better people than I do.
Should we talk about our next big read, or are we gonna save that for later?
Let's talk about it now. Yeah.
We can talk about it now.
Okay. So if you remember from when the Hugo nominees came out and were announced, we all got very excited for the Beowulf translation.
Beowulf.
And so we've decided that this next upcoming month, we are going to start reading our way through Beowulf. It is available in the Hugo packet. And I think it's going to be just a blast.
Yeah.
It is going to be something, all right.
It'll be
something.
I read the Haney translation way back when, like, oh my god, I think almost 2 decades ago. I went through a phase reading a lot of like ancient Greek and plays, and then I also read Beowulf.
Yeah.
So I'm very interested because I have very vague memories of like the language and how like it was written, and I'm just very interested to see this new version.
I am very intrigued to see what was done with this because it's supposed to bring the entire thing into like modern language.
Yeah.
And I'm just fascinated at that idea. I love that kind of updated text. So, yeah, anyone who wants to read with us, you are welcome to read with us.
You
Maybe
use
if
hashtag
any of us
Browolf.
tweets about it, we should tweet with hashtag Browolf.
Yes.
I'm pretty sure there is a free online recording. Like I think that Headley did a project where she had like 25 people read portions of it. So I think there might kind of be a full audio version available.
Oh, really?
Online. I've lost the link. Somebody mentioned it to me, and I did not bookmark it. Let me see
because
if
it's in the voter packet, but I was planning on listening to it because especially with like that updated classical text.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's like with Shakespeare where I find that if I hear it, I comprehend it better. So that would be intriguing to me.
I'll have to see if I can find the link to that.
Well, whoops. I just completely misinterpreted that part of the pattern. Moving on. Yikes.
I feel like this is a theme of watching me juggle all of the knitting needles.
I mean, nothing wrong with that. If this is gonna be one derpy looking alpaca, I just,
I mean, that just makes your alpaca especially friendly.
Yes.
I put the link in the private chat, Bree, if you want to share that.
Awesome.
Yeah, I found it.
I will drop it in the main chat. And I will also put it in the description of this video for anybody who is coming along and watching afterwards, so that it is easy to find.
I am like so behind on my Hugo reading and Hugo viewing and Hugo playing with the best game writing.
I will admit I've touched nothing from the voter packet yet.
I finally read Murderbot this month, and it was great. The new Network Effect. I finally read it.
Oh yeah.
A program reading slump.
I'm just relieved that so much of the nominees are stuff that I actually had happened to read throughout the year, because I was afraid that with my terrible reading slump that I was going to be so behind and just overwhelmed. And I've actually got a good chunk of them under my belt, which is a surprising relief.
Yeah, I am glad that voting is extended through November, because there's no way I would have gotten through the David Bat. I have a bunch of the Hugo nominees on my book throne right now, because that's kind of how I'm keeping books so I know where they are when I need to read them. And the David Bad books are chunky. They're chunky. And then for astounding, Jen Lyons has 3 books because she published 2 books in her first year of eligibility. I might try and read Harrow today. I think my plan after this might just be to go hide in my bathroom, which is the coolest room in my apartment, and just read Harrow for the rest.
Can you fill the tub up with coolish water and
I think that's going to be my plan, is just chill in my tub.
Make yourself a big tub of iced tea or lemonade or something.
Iced tea or lemonade. I do have another bottle of Vita water because I'm I need something with electrolytes.
Yeah, fair.
Yeah, I've been drinking Pocari Sweat. just like
Yeah, I ended up taking Friday afternoon off just because I didn't have a lot to do, and I did a last minute grocery run so I wouldn't have to leave my apartment today or this entire weekend. So all the food that I have is already prepared, and I've just been eating it cold because I don't have a microwave, so the only way to heat things up is on my stove, and I'm trying not to touch my stove this weekend.
Oh, somebody's asking if anybody's read Ring Shout.
me.
Yes.
Yep.
I really
It's great.
I read it earlier this year and I really liked it. Novella is going to be so hard for me. There's like so many good things in the novella category.
Ring Shout is oh no. Di, if you have something to say, please say it. I need to come.
I really like it. I really like and this is something I found in a lot of Clark's writing is how he'll take history but like add that speculative twist, and he does it so well.
Very well.
And I just so I still need to read a couple more of the best novella nominees, but right now like my top two are Ring Shout and Riot Baby, and it's like I don't know which one I would rank first because they're both very good.
Yeah.
I would say that I was talking with my friend Jenna from Bibliophile, and I think she described Ring Shout the best way. That Ring Shout is like you're being dropped into the finale of the first season of a TV show in the best possible way. That you are not like, your hand is not being held, and you are dropped into the middle of the action, but you know the characters, and like with very little like wordplay, you get to know what the characters are like and what their dynamic is, and P.J. Lee Clark just really plays that off very well. So it's just
yeah, that's a really good way to describe it.
I will say Riot Baby hit me really hard because I read it last June. So all of the like Floyd stuff was going on here. For those of you who don't know, I live in the Twin Cities metro, which is where the George Floyd murder occurred. And it was it punched.
Understandably.
Yeah.
But yeah, and it's like that book is something that it forces you to look at things. It's like with the theming and with the way it is written, it forces you to look at things, and it just holds your head and it's like, look, this is how things are, don't ignore.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, I need to catch up on She-Ra and The Expanse. And
I need to look at the games.
I
Spiritfarer.
So I own Spiritfarer and Hades. I started Hades but never finished it. Because I started it when I was heading into like a really bad depressive episode, and the only things I wanted to play were things that I was familiar with. So I don't think I replayed Mass Effect then. I did replay Dragon Age.
Yeah.
So it was like things that I was already very familiar with. So I need to restart it, but I've fallen into Stardew Valley, and it's very easy to just keep playing Stardew Valley.
Are you excited about the Magical School game that the developer of Stardew Valley is working on?
I am excited. Right now I'm working towards true perfection, which is going to take a while, which is good, but also no, I want it now.
I mean, I started playing Hades again after a break because I need to get the Olympians to come visit my home and have a party. I need the true ending. The true ending.
I've played a couple hours of Spiritfarer and really liked it. It's kind of in that same vein of like very low conflict, build a pretty thing and like do nice things for other people.
Yeah.
And that's the kind of game that I like.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't think I'm going to play Last of Us Part 2 just because I haven't played the first one. And I've heard that while the writing's good, it's just super, super grim. And I'm not sure if that's something I can mentally handle. Like, even after coming out of the pandemic, like it's not like I want something like Stardew or like Hades or Animal Crossing, like something that is hopeful.
Which is very understandable.
I mean, I want to play Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild. Now I'm like excited again because we got the mini teaser trailer at the E3 Nintendo Direct for the sequel, and now I'm like pumped to finish it again. But also that game is not so much hopeful, but about fixing the mistakes that happened in the past. Like the world already ended, and you are just like traipsing around in the ruins and hoping to make the best of what you have.
Yeah.
And save what's left, essentially, which is kind of like, it's depressing sometimes. Like it's so interesting to walk around and be like, oh, these things have happened, and like see how people like. I loved being in the Zoras domain because all the elderly Zoras had like super negative opinions about Link from 100 years ago because he just disappeared. And stuff, but also it's like so hard because it's so depressing.
I'm trying to decide if I should rewatch Dark Crystal: Age of
Rebellion.
Huh?
No, I'm thinking of something else that's Age of Rebellion.
Oh yeah, no, it's it starts with a D. It's the Netflix one with Barnaby Dixon does a whole battle scene, which if you haven't watched Barnaby Dixon do his puppetry on YouTube, you absolutely should.
Oh yeah.
Wow.
His stuff is amazing. And there's he has a video. It is Age of Resistance. He has a video about how he got to work with Henson and filming it. That is also worth watching. I suggest watching the show and then watching his video on that. But I'm trying to decide if I want to do that because it has kind of that same vibe of like the world's kind of ended or is ending, but also like maybe kindness will make a difference.
Mm.
I have only watched the first episode of that. Why am I like this? Like I start watching things and then I just like I have like so many series that I have just like, even though I like them, I have just not finished.
My thing is that
don't talk to me about Mandalorian.
It is hard to
get me to watch.
It is hard to get me to watch something new. Once I do and I've decided I like it, it just becomes part of the rotation of things that I will watch on repeat because, you know, anxiety brain likes knowing what will happen.
Yeah. Which is why I have watched Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood for like 5 times.
Yeah.
From start to finish.
Yeah, I think that's kind of why it was easier for me to watch the final season of the Clone Wars versus Bad Batch. So like final season of Clone Wars, like I knew Rex and Ahsoka were gonna live. I knew the Fall of the Jedi was gonna happen, that Order 66 was gonna rip my heart out. Like I knew that going into it, so I was able to watch it. But with Dad Batch, it like Dave Filoni has a type of story, and it is adorable youngster gets paired with an older man who doesn't know how to deal with kids, but is going to do his best. Like, you see that with Ahsoka and Anakin. You see that with Grogu and Mando. And now you have it with Omega, who is adorable and needs to be protected at all costs, and the Bad Batch, who are now all her dads or older brothers. Like, Dave Filoni has a story type. And, like, while I'm enjoying it, I do wish he would do something new. But anyway, the point I was getting to, there is that anxiety of like not knowing what's going to happen with the Bad Batch and Omega, because they're new characters and they haven't shown up anywhere. And
I don't know if I have it in me to be like heartbroken by like somebody's death that like definitely makes a dramatic point, but like I get too hung up on, like, I need to know it's coming. At least right now.
Yeah, and that's why I like spoilers, because there were like two instances that I can point to. So like with Torchwood, with Children of Earth, I had seen on Twitter that Yonto died. So I was still incredibly upset with everything, but I still had some like time before watching the episode to like
know what was coming
compared to, and I'm going to spoil Person of Interest in case anyone has seen, or like somewhat spoil, but like in the middle of season 3, the advertisements for a certain episode, The Crossing, were saying like someone on Team Machine is going to die. And so like you knew someone was going to die, but you didn't know who. And I was watching it live. And so when the person did die, it like took me out. Like I was still like the next day I was like still like emotionally hungover.
I mean, look at it this way, and my partner will never let this go. I still have never seen the ending of Ever After, because when it gets to the point where they tear off her like wings and her beautiful ball gown, I like can't. And so even though I know there's 15 minutes left and she's definitely going to like hook up with the prince and it's going to be happily ever after, I like can't bring myself to like what if through that.
I mean, I have a similar thing with Con Air, a very random movie. The moment where they crash land in Las Vegas, and John Malkovich's character escapes with a bunch of other characters, I stopped watching because I don't want Nick Cage to win.
Fair. Oh my goodness. That was a very satisfied drinking noise.
I mean, tea is good. Tea is good. Especially now that it isn't hot anymore. It's just like lukewarm tea. Rachel, are we gonna start watching Nevers next week-ish?
We should, yeah. Yeah, I'm ready to go. So
you've decided that you're gonna watch it?
Yeah, I mean, we finished Shadow and Bone. And we've already gotten used to watching stuff together. So
I still know Shadow and Bone. I had started reading the first book, and then The Darkling Kissed Alina, and I just haven't picked it up since. Even though I know that, like,
I mean, that is fair.
Game, thank God, but I was still just like, you are a creepy old man, and she is a teenager.
Okay, I'm not gonna say anything about the TV show direction, but like. Anyway, neither of us has had any urge to pick up our joint watch of Farscape.
No,
so it's kind of like
you shouldn't.
I don't want to force it.
You should make sure that you put your comments on the Nevers in like a group chat. I'm probably not going to be able to coordinate watching it with you live, but I can respond.
Yes.
I haven't watched it yet, but if you guys are going to watch it, I'll watch it.
It is probably just gonna be me gushing about all the clothes.
Let's be honest,
Basically.
that's why I want to watch it. I mean, I only know the show exists because of costume.
Yeah.
I'm gonna watch it for the clothes.
I did appreciate when Abby Cox did her video about it that she did mention that like Whedon was taken off and
Yeah.
all of that stuff. Because that is the reason I have been hesitant, I think.
Yeah, same.
It's so hard. Like Buffy was so formative for me, but it's also like that point of kind of like with how Harry Potter is with folks, where it's like formative, but also
Can we
like,
have like
it was formative, but now it's also a point of pain.
I was gonna say, can we have something that was really formative and nostalgic that shaped us from our childhoods and not have it ruined?
Star Trek?
The Protector of the Small Series by Tamara Pierce.
Yes.
Chronicles of Press Fancy.
Also Star
If
Trek.
someone tells me something
for
fast
some
is up
parts.
with Diana Wynne Jones, I'm gonna lose my mind.
Oh,
but
yeah,
like,
that would be
like my favorite Diana Wynne Jones story was when she took the class from Tolkien and he was like purposely like teaching it badly because he wanted more time to write. And she's just like, no, I paid for this course. I'm staying.
That's funny. Okay, I think I have done my
Diana Wynne
counting.
Jones. Young Wizards hasn't been ruined yet, I don't think.
I would also say Ursula Le Guin.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
So, you know.
I need to reread the Earthsea Cycle because I read them in elementary, or like the first few books in elementary school, and I remember like vaguely enjoying them, but I don't remember any of the details.
Huh.
I mean, if you want to buddy read the Earthsea Cycle, I can do that. I haven't read them.
I
have the first book.
At a later date. I need to prioritize my Hugo reading.
Oh yeah, not now.
But yeah, my elementary school librarian like knew I liked to read, and she would always hook me up with books before they were like officially available for everyone else. So I was the first one to read the new Artemis Fowl books. She gave me the Ursula Le Guin books when they entered into the collection.
Can we talk about how amazing like elementary, middle, and high school librarians are, and how they saved basically all of the good reading for like they cared about putting those books in your hands.
Yeah.
And I will forever love them for it.
You guys and your school librarians, we didn't have those.
A lot of places don't anymore just because they get cut. But like if you are lucky enough to have one, they're so good. Like my middle school so I didn't have a good relationship with my high school librarians because they were kind of not great. But like my elementary school and middle school librarians, I had the hookup, and the middle school, we actually had like a very complete collection of Agatha Christie books.
Mm-hmm.
They were part of like the structured reading for kids who needed it for like the higher level ones.
Yeah.
Like for points. And yeah, it was great. I read so much Agatha Christie during downtime at the desk.
I mean, speaking of formative books that turned out to be like where the author turned out to be rubbish, I had to read so much S.E. Hinton in high school. Well, not high school, like middle school.
Uh-huh.
Because like basically like teachers get to choose like first of all, I don't understand why we had to read S.A. Hinton for Finnish class because it was translated. Why couldn't we just read Finnish books? I don't get it.
Wait, like S.A. Hinton, like The Outsiders?
Yeah,
Yes.
she like became a problematic person in the super.
Yeah, I had to read like
just
3
confused 'cause
books by her.
It feels like Baby's First Grease plus more.
Yeah, I had
I've
to
never
read
read it,
like
but yeah.
I had to read like 3 books by her because because basically back when I was in middle school, like
Wait.
teachers could make their own curriculum. They could choose their own like reading, and our teacher just happened to be like a huge S.E. Hinton fan.
S.E. Hinton is a woman?
Yeah.
Yeah,
But those books are such boy trash.
yeah, they are. But she's a woman.
That's a thing.
And
Okay.
also those
Noted.
books are definitely not gay.
I mean, no, they're
She wants you to know that they are not gay. And that was the only redeeming quality about Outsiders, was that how queer coded it is.
It's
Little
super
closeted baby gay Rhea was like super into that whole queer subtext in those books, like in that book.
which is understandable.
But like she has been very vocal about how she does not endorse queer readings of her work. So
That's cute. That's how that
It's
works.
cool. I will never read anything by her.
yeah, don't. They're like
My cousin's in middle grade at a Catholic school, funny enough, and they're reading The Outsiders, and it's like, I'm sure there are better, more recent books that you're teaching.
those books were outdated when I was in middle school reading them. Righty. It was a chore. And still, I mean, here's the thing, like, it's so weird because in Finnish class, we studied like Finnish grammar, and then we moved on to like Finnish literature, but then we also read just random books in Finnish that weren't actually written by Finnish authors, but were just translated, which is like, okay, go off, I guess. But then in like English class or German class, we never read any novels, ever. It was just grammar until you died.
I had one Spanish course in college where we actually read a little book in Spanish. It's the only time that it was ever required. And we did most of it in class. And I was like, we would all like get a lot more. We would learn a lot more if we're actually forced to read longer things. Because I don't know. I have thoughts on this. I'm currently going through the Duolingo Spanish course, and I'm like, I will never have any use for the tourist phrases. I want to be able to read a story in Spanish, and one that isn't about reserving hotel rooms or ordering cervezas en restaurantes, you know? It's
Yeah.
like
Have you tried listening to like watching like Spanish shows or movies?
I highly recommend watching telenovelas. Like,
Yeah.
kind of
Yeah,
have-
put subtitles on. Like I've found that the best way to learn is to like put on a show, and then, for example, I've been watching anime recently with Japanese subtitles.
Mhm. I've kind of tried telenovelas and stuff like that on whatever I can find on Netflix, and I don't like them enough to want to watch a lot to like absorb the language. So I'm still
So-
kind of searching for something.
I would suggest if there's a show that you know that you like, at the very least, like that's an opportunity to like turn on the like the
I
Spanish
have-
dubbing.
I have
Yeah,
a recommendation for like if you don't like the telenovela concept of like high soap and high camp,
yeah, I agree with that.
I would recommend watching Elite, which is a Spanish it's sort of like a dark academia crime series that takes place in this elite high school where a student is found murdered.
the one
And-
thing I will say with Elite versus something else is that Castilian Spanish is very different than Latin American Spanish. Like they have,
Yes.
and Elite is like Castilian, like Spain from like Spanish from Spain.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So it kind of depends on the Spanish that you're used to listening to. So like if you're used to listening to more like Mexican or Central American Spanish, then finding something
Yeah.
from that region, or Colombia. Actually, I found Colombian Spanish to be super easy to listen to and understand. But like Argentine Spanish is like Porteño Spanish is more similar to like Castilian Spanish, and then there's also Chilean Spanish and Caribbean Spanish, which are both very different.
I did stumble across an entire section of Disney Plus that was just Argentinian kids shows.
That is probably the kind of thing that I should try listening to, like the little baby steps. I wanted to get like bilingual children's books too.
Oh yeah.
It's a bit difficult to find them at the library though, because like I want to be able to like search for it in the catalog, but there's no good way for me to find if something's actually bilingual unless I see it on the shelf, you know.
Did you talk to the librarian and see if maybe there's a database trick that they have?
I may have to, but also my library has an absolutely terrible ILS that doesn't have pretty much any search features, so they are limited to it.
I hate that.
I would also suggest maybe like if you have a favorite movie or something, just watch the dub.
Yeah, I was gonna say Disney movies are actually pretty good for that.
Yeah.
Especially if it's something that you've seen enough times before where you're familiar with what it's saying.
Yeah, the first Disney movie that I ever watched in English was Beauty and the Beast when I was in 5th grade. And that's how I started learning English, because I had seen it so many times in Finnish before that.
And that's actually, because I know translations aren't exactly one for one, but if you're looking for reading, like being able to read like a translated novel is also like something that you read in English.
Yeah.
E is suggesting Coco as a great one, which is true.
I read like Harry Potter's I had read them in Finnish, and then I had read some in English, but I started reading them in German.
And
so if you have some,
my first idea was to get the Spanish version of the first Harry Potter novel, and then I decided not to when the whole like J.K. Rowling thing blew up. But that was my first choice because I've read that first book so many times.
Yeah,
I wonder.
But if you have like any other like things.
Translations of Hal and other Diana Wynne Jones.
I was just opening Amazon to look at that.
Because I would say if there are, and I'm pretty sure there are, that might be a good way to go for something like familiar but not Harry Potter.
I mean, I happen to know that the Moomin books have been translated into Spanish.
Also,
just so you know.
Also, we need to talk about In the Heights.
I still need to see it.
I haven't seen it. I know what it's about vaguely. I know about the controversy around its casting more than I know about the actual musical.
Okay. Well, it's a musical that takes place in like a predominantly like Latino and Afro-Latino community in New York.
Yeah.
And so like it's very much that same kind of like Into the Spider-Verse where like the Spanish is just kind of integrated into the conversation as opposed to being called out as like something particularly different, which is I love. But also one of the characters, side note, I was talking about this with Chelsea, wears phenomenal summer knitwear the entire movie and the internet is not talking about it.
I was trying to find pictures because I haven't seen. I was like, what are you two talking about? I want to see examples.
We see.
And yes, Shannon, I
I
remember when you read the Goodnight Stories for Rebel Girls. I've been seeing if I can find the Spanish edition of that at the library. It's on my list.
I actually, I don't have a lot of Spanish books anymore, but I do still have Dia de los Venados, the one that Le Guin translated. Day of the Deer.
I'm
Day of the Deer, yeah.
I keep meaning to read them because my grandparents got them for me a very long time ago. I can't remember exactly when. Because they're like, oh, it's in fantasy, it's in Spanish, you'll be able to read it.
So here, hold on.
I'm still kind of amused that Renata from Book Cravings sent me a Christmas present of a picture book that's very popular in Brazil, where she lives. And it's in Brazilian Portuguese. And I've been slowly, for the past 2 years, making my way through it without any knowledge of Portuguese, let alone Brazilian Portuguese. And it's been going. Not well, but it's been going.
Here, hold on. I'm gonna screen share really quick. This is just one of her shirts. Like every outfit that she wears basically in the entire film is summer knitwear. I need my tab. Do you see that like eyelet bit there? Or here, there's a better, let me grab a better one. You can kind of see it a little bit better here, where it's almost like it looks like a linen stitch, but it is definitely not a linen stitch. It is much more lacy than that. And like how it hangs is lovely. Let's see if there's another shot of it like that. Anyway, the entire time I was watching the movie, I was like, please, internet, go nuts over these. And then they didn't. We'll go nuts over Bernie Sanders mitts, but not over In the Heights. So fine.
I wonder if it's just like there is a lack of. Wait, where is my thing? If there's a lack of cross-pollination between musical lovers and knitters, and basically knitters who can reverse engineer.
Yeah.
Where's my green tapestry needle? Oh, there it is.
I don't know, but can we shout out Becca, who just finished her row on a 96 chain 7s on a shawl that apparently took forever. And yes, good work, Becca.
Wow.
That's a lot of chain.
Speaking of shawls, I saw that the book that you bought, Rachel, the 52 Weeks of Shawls, it has a Finnish edition.
Yes,
so I'm thinking
from
I
Laina,
need.
and Laina is one of the founders of it. Is based in Finland.
See, I was thinking about that. Like, this sounds like a Finnish thing, but then I was like, surely not.
Well, I was thinking about, Rhea, it's your mom who really likes doing socks, right?
Yeah.
Because the same.
Like, my mom is a sock monster.
Yeah, because they have a 52 weeks of socks through the same publisher. That's like in the same like beautiful like linen covered edition.
Mm-hmm.
I might have
But
to
I
buy
bet they
that
also
for her.
have that in a Finnish.
Yeah, they do. They do. I saw it. I might have to buy that for her for Christmas. But my mom is also like, she's very like, she doesn't follow patterns. She just wings it and makes her own,
Good
which
for
is so
her.
weird because she works in like, she does this really amazing like intricate lace work and like this little like what's the word, like these fuzz balls that are sort of like pseudo cabling. Like, she uses some cabling technique, but they're like these little pom-poms.
Like nups. Like
little nubs. But she uses like pseudo like cabling techniques to make them go like in a sort of like a diamond shape.
Okay.
And like I told her many times, like, Mom, you know what? This thing like Ravelry exists. You could get so much money and stuff just by selling your patterns. And she's like, I don't do patterns. I've never made a pattern in my life. It's like, okay.
That's
fine.
funny. You should maybe like, I don't know. get somebody to retro engineer them for you or something.
Yeah.
Socks. So did anyone here read the Molly books from American Girl?
Yeah,
A long time ago.
long time ago.
They kind of made me so scared of ever trying to knit socks because I distinctly remember the one book where they're like, oh, we're going to knit a bunch of socks. And Molly's like, oh, the heel is so bad. And then they end up making a blanket because the person, there was like, they realized that socks were hard or something.
Which is funny because I think turning the heel is like my favorite part of doing a sock.
I always like knitting the heel flap.
Yeah, the heel flap is
back and forth, back and forth.
But like that bit left such an impression on me. And so I'm just like, I don't know if I want to do socks.
that's funny.
I mean, if it's any consolation, Di, I don't want to do socks either.
You should do socks with me and we'll do the Granny Weatherwax socks.
Like, here's the thing. I just purchased a pattern for a sweater that I want to make, which is the Queen Bee sweater, which has this lovely like bee text, like bee pattern on the yoke and on the sleeves.
Okay.
That has like the beehive texture and then actual bees. And I want to make that so much, but at the same time, I don't know anything about working two colors at the same time. So
there are a couple hat patterns that I can send you.
yeah, thank you.
Is it like mosaic stitching or is it like the color, like the ladyfingers?
Stranded color work, yeah. Do you know?
I'm not sure. It doesn't look anything like the ladyfingers though. It mostly looks like switching between colors.
Let me see. Ravelry.
Yeah, now I want to see this.
It's a very cool pattern. Like if you want, Brie, you can share the screen because it looks so beautiful. And there's actually like
It's the Queen Bee sweater?
Yeah. And she has the Queen Bee like a hat and also a cowl in the same style. So you could make like a whole Queen Bee outfit collection.
Okay.
I just went for the sweater.
Is it the one she's doing, the one that you're thinking of has the sample picture is yellow and purple?
Yes.
Okay, here.
It's stranded color work. Yeah.
Yeah, it's stranded color. Stranded color work is, you'll probably want to try out a couple different things of stranded color work before you do it because the tension can be tricky, but it's not super hard. Here, let me share screen so everyone can see because it is quite pretty.
It is so pretty. Like that is so nice.
Yeah. I am super into this one is the sample with the like deep royal purple. I think that's really pretty too.
Also, this designer has a yarn shop, which is one of the yarn shops that I found. And they have so many awesome colorways that I'm like, I can't.
I mean,
you could, but it would be Finnish designer who also recommended yarns, and that's how I found like a Finnish yarn shop. And I'm like, I can't find all these yarn shops. Just no.
I have been falling down again the yarn Instagram rabbit hole.
Oh, I know. My friend Josie keeps sending, because the Instagram algorithm is what it is. And so she'll see stuff and she's like, Di, look at these. And it's like, no, I can't. I'm on a budget.
Don't show me these things. How dare you?
Have you seen the Arcane Fiberworks ones?
They started popping up in my recommendations a lot.
They're like these beautiful, vivid, like fantasy art and like nature art. And then she uses those to come up with her color patterns. And I don't know if they are as saturated and beautiful as they appear on the pictures.
I
And I'm
will
so tempted.
be tempted by some of the variegated ones in Chelsea's new collection.
Yes.
I really like the purples and greens, and I might actually just get a couple for my mom, but because like that's very much her color palette.
Mm-hmm.
But I think I need to wait till I get paid first.
Yeah, fair.
I can't wait for my first payday. I mean, I'm starting a job in a week, and I'm already like so excited. I can't. Like I'm at the same time, you know how you're scared starting a new job when you don't know what you're gonna actually do and how the thing is gonna go.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I'm also really excited because
Good.
it's
I'm
an
glad you're
actual
excited.
paying job.
2, 4, 6.
I mean, and it's also like it's in my what's the word? It's in my field, so
Mhm.
it's like it's very rare to get like job this close to graduation.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's really good.
Okay, that's 6.
Let's see.
Sorry, I'm being like super quiet, but I'm also like on this intensive cabling row.
Yeah, no worries. I mean, I feel like I'm constantly stopping what I'm saying because I'm like, I need to count.
Well, I can say that one of the things that I am incredibly excited for coming up in like I think the next month. I think it's I think it's July is the Green Knight.
Yes.
Oh, is it finally coming out?
Let me
Yeah.
double check because I'm pretty sure it's
in July. We're finally getting it. I'm so excited.
I've only been waiting like 2 years for this damn movie.
Last year was supposed to be the summer of Dev Patel.
Dev Patel, yeah, I know.
I will say, kind of related, the fact that we're getting so many Arthur retellings the last couple of years is really interesting to me because it's like just like how many we're getting. Like we have the Once a book duology, we have Kirsten's White Camelot books, we have Swapna Krishna and Jen Northington's anthology that's coming out. There's the Half Sick of Shadows, which I think is a book of the month pick. I've heard mixed things on it. And then Aetherbound by E.K. Johnston is a Fisher King retelling, but in space.
Okay.
It's like I haven't read it yet. I keep meaning to, and I'm like, oh no, but like, what if I don't like it? Because I've been looking forward to it. But it's like Jupiter Ascending meets the Fisher King meets the Newfoundland cod fisheries collapse.
That's oddly specific.
That's I don't know. That's interesting because when is the last time we really had a good, like, a bunch of King Arthur retellings like that?
Yeah, I just like I find it fascinating. And someone was like, "Oh, in a Discord I'm in was like, oh, I bet it's Merlin inspired." But like Merlin ended almost 10 years ago, and I think like had that been the case, we would have seen all these retellings before. I actually think it is.
Merlin, as in the BBC Merlin?
Yeah. I think it's honestly more of people loving the Guy Ritchie King Arthur and like getting re-inspired by that. Because like I've seen so many authors just not talking about Merlin on Twitter, but more talking about trash King Arthur.
I mean, in fairness, if you were doing King Arthur right, it is kind of a story about trash people being trash people.
Yeah.
Just like everyone in the entirety of King Arthur is a little screwed.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Sometimes literally.
Yep. But I am so excited. I feel like it's been forever that I've just been wanting this movie.
Yeah.
It's
It
finally
just looks so pretty.
It looks so pretty, and it's freaking Dev Patel, and I'm just here for it. I'm here for it. And I want to see what A24, like an A24 fantasy movie looks like, because I've liked all of the A24 like coming of age movies.
What have they done before?
A24 did Eighth Grade, which was the Bo Burnham movie. They've done, let's see, I think Midsummer. I think Lady Bird was A24. So it's much more like A24 is, from my understanding, independently funded by a guy who doesn't really care about if they make like money back. So like it's much more, it's like the Image Comics of movies. Like you do something there because you want to, and because it's like an artistic dream of yours, not because you're trying to like
Be the
work
next
the money machine. I don't know. Anyone else looking forward to anything in particular?
I'm hoping to see the Kimetsu no Yaiba movie because it's actually being shown in theaters here in Finland, which is very rare. So I need to go and see it so that I can support anime localization and publishing in Finland, because that doesn't happen too often.
I am trying to talk some friends into doing a drive-in of either Fast 9 or Black Widow when it comes out, because one of my friends is like is still kind of iffy about going to movie theaters, which fair.
Yeah.
I think I can, if like we can find a drive-in, that would be something they would go for, just because like we can stay in the like at one of our cars. We can bring our own snacks. We don't really have to interact with anyone.
Yeah.
Outdoors. And so there are a couple of drive-in theaters like nearish to me. So I'm more of just like keeping an eye out to see if they are going to play Black Widow or something so we can go.
From my understanding, the critical reviews of Black Widow have been pretty good.
Yeah, it's more of like I would have been much more excited about this movie had it come out like 5 years ago.
Well, yes, I think that is.
So right now I'm just kind of like, I'm going to see it because I like seeing Marvel movies on a big screen. But I want to see what they do with Florence Pugh's character, because the way I'm reading it, like just in terms of like marketing and stuff, like she's going to be taking over the Black Widow.
Oh, sure.
And so like that's why this is like a flashback movie. So I'm interested to see how they handle it, but it's all, like I said, I'm not just like super excited.
I mean, yeah, I wish it had come out 5 years ago, but I feel like that's kind of a truth universally acknowledged. Like,
yeah.
I mean, I wish many things. I wish the Black Widow Hulk thing never happened.
Well, so here's the thing. Before Age of Ultron happened, I actually did I liked the fic of Hulk and Black Widow, because like I enjoyed how fic writers handled it. But then because like there are ways they could have handled Natasha being like, oh, I'm a monster, that didn't deal with her being like, I'm a monster because I can't have kids. It could be, I'm a monster because I did all of these things and it's not something I can ever properly atone for.
Yeah.
Which is something they set up in the first movie and then just kind of got dropped. Anyway, Age of Ultron, so bad.
Yeah.
The entirety of Marvel, like, it's all just doing Natasha dirty over and over.
The one that did it the best, like, Winter Soldier was her best movie, and I'm still mad. And I was talking about this with someone else that Cap 3 was an Avengers movie instead of Team Cap up all night to get Bucky. Because I think it was supposed to be similar to that, and then Robert Downey Jr. was like, no, I need to be there. It's like, do you really though? No one likes
There.
I don't know. Has anyone been watching the Loki show?
I haven't seen the latest episode. But I have been enjoying it. I do think it's so far. I haven't seen the latest episode, and I've heard mixed things about it because some people are like, "Oh, it's boring," and other people are like, "No, this is very good character work." But in terms of like structure and like style, it's very good.
I am surprisingly pleased with Owen Wilson.
Yeah,
Owen Wilson is in Loki?
yeah. He's Handler. My sister described it as white collar but Marvel.
A little bit.
Okay. Okay. I haven't watched any of the Marvel shows. I just like after Endgame, I just sort of tapped out
Which is fair.
Yeah,
because I just don't have any motivation to watch any more of them. I mean, I'm gonna watch Shang-Chi
Yeah.
when that comes out, and I'm probably going to. I mean, I probably have to watch WandaVision so that I can watch Doctor Strange, The Multiverse of Madness. But those are like the only two that I'm even remotely interested in is Shang-Chi and Doctor Strange, The Multiverse of Madness.
See, I want you to watch Falcon and Winter Soldier, if only so that we can have the conversations about what they could have done so much better. Because it wasn't bad. There
But
are a
here's
lot
the
of things
thing.
about it that I really liked.
But here's the thing. I have a hard time with Falcon and the Winter Soldier because it screams Amurica to me, like in a way that might make me really uncomfortable to watch. Okay. So you want to go? Okay.
So I think for me, one of the problems, and this is something I think Marvel's going to have to grapple with, is how they structure their shows. Because so far, WandaVision very much knew it was a TV show. The ending was rushed, I think, because they were like close to the ending when COVID hit. And so things they had planned, they weren't able to logistically do.
Yeah.
So I'm giving them a pass on that final episode, but prior to that, they were very much structured like a TV show. So even though they had serialized elements, every episode had its own like introduction, climax, fall. Like each episode had its own story arc. Whereas with Falcon and Winter Soldier, the showrunner and the writer were talking about it as like, oh, it's a movie in six
parts. Yeah.
No, because the pacing, which would have worked for a movie, didn't necessarily work for a TV show. And they could have easily cut out Zemo. Like, Zemo did not need to be there.
Wait, Zemo was in it?
Yeah. Granted, it's hard for me to complain about campy, like, cartoonish.
Daniel
Not even that. He didn't. For me, at least, he didn't really serve a integral plot point that could have been told by someone else. And so
Daniel Brühl is always a nice
with
addition, but still.
I think for me, because they had so many pacing problems where it felt like they were trying to do so many things that they didn't do any of them particularly well. They could have easily cut out Zemo, and I think it would have been better. But so far for me, Loki is like treating itself as a TV show instead of as a movie in 6 parts, which again, I think helps with each episode, like having its own complete story, but also building towards something else.
Yeah. I think what I have liked. Oh, hey. What I liked about Falcon and Winter Soldier was mostly the way that it built into the story some context for what would have been going on in the world outside of what was happening with the Avengers. I don't think they do enough with it, but I like that it even starts talking about that.
Yeah.
So I will agree with you about pacing, and I think there's a lot of weaknesses with it, but it does have that going.
Yeah.
But yeah, so far I am very much enjoying Loki. But I do need to watch the last episode. I just have not watched it yet, and I need to watch it before next Wednesday.
Yeah. Oh my gosh.
I'm sweaty in places that should not be sweaty.
This is why I have the cold damp towel around my shoulders. It is doing a lot of work. I need to rewatch Ted Lasso too, because the new season is coming this month or in July, and I'm very excited because for folks who haven't watched Ted Lasso, it is worth the free trial for Apple TV Plus because it is so charming and so delightful. It is basically Parks and Rec, but make it soccer.
While you watch that, if you're gonna do the free trial of Apple TV Plus, Wolfwalkers, phenomenal. I actually really enjoyed the Emily Dickinson show.
I mean, for Wolfwalkers, I might do the trial.
I'm so mad that you can't get a DVD copy of Wolfwalkers because I want it in my collection that bad.
That is outrageous.
Yeah. I do deeply dislike the fact that with streaming, they aren't doing physical release as well.
I mean, I think that they will for Wolfwalkers. I think part of it is that I think they have an exclusive release deal with Apple. And I'm sure that can't be like forever. But Wolfwalkers is so good. It's the same studio that does Song of the Sea and
and the Selkie. No, the Song of the Sea is the Selkie story.
Yeah, the Song of the Sea is a Selkie story.
But the Book of Kells is the other one.
Yeah, it's the one about the Fae.
But
that studio is super cool.
Please watch Ted Lasso. It makes my heart very full, and I would not have imagined that I would have liked this show. So good. Oh, and Leverage is the new Leverage series is starting up in a couple of weeks.
Oh my gosh. I need to not to derail the Leverage. I need to be publicly jealous of Kelsey, who got to see Wolfwalkers in a totally empty movie theater.
How dare you, Kelsey? How dare you? How dare you have a good time without the rest of us?
When are we going to invent actual teleportation so that I can go and hang out and do things like that?
Right.
Yes, that's what I want.
Exactly.
Yeah, Leverage on IMDb TV. It's free. Please watch it because I want several more seasons because it's the perfect TV show.
What the heck is IMDb TV?
IMDb TV. So it's IMDb's streaming service. It's attached to Amazon Prime, but you don't have to have Amazon Prime to watch it. But if you have Amazon Prime, it's ad free.
What?
Another service to keep track of.
Yeah, I know.
But it's giving me the Leverage revival that I dreamed of, so I'm willing to let it pass. But they actually for folks who don't know, one of the actors in the original series, Timothy Hutton, last year was accused of raping I think she was a teenager. I think she was under 18 at the time. And so during the production of the original Leverage, the showrunner, John Rogers, apparently told the actors, if I find out you did anything, either during the show or before it happened, I have an envelope with your death scene written, and I will break it out if anything comes out, and you will be written off the show. And it sounds like he broke out the envelope because Nate is not Timothy Hutton's character is nowhere near leverage. They brought in Noah Wiley.
Well,
So I'm just like, yeah, good for you.
well, he was warned.
Yeah. Well, and it was, he said it.
Also, I think there's something like if you have like criminal charges and criminal allegations, then it's like I don't. If I was a creative person working on a thing, I wouldn't want to be associated with actual criminality.
Mhm.
Like because there are levels. Like for example, some people are like rude or badly behaved, or they have a reputation for being like assholes, but in a legal way. And then there are some people who have a reputation for being actual criminals. And at that point, I too would have an envelope for a death scene at my disposal, just for like I don't want to be associated with this,
Jeez. Should we talk about upcoming releases that we're excited about?
Well, glad we.
I got my
this out.
copy of The Witness for the Dead yesterday.
My copy arrived, but I'm waiting until Tuesday to pick it up because I'll have another pre-order in.
Okay.
Why did I do this?
I am looking. Well, one of the books I was looking forward to is not coming out. It got delayed. But one that I am looking forward to is the new Becky Chambers novella,
Yes,
The Well Built.
me too.
Yep.
Zen Cho's short story collection is being expanded and re-released, and I'm very excited about this because Small Beer Press is going to do it.
Oh, are they?
Yes, I have it pre-ordered. It comes out in August, I think.
I'm
So
looking at my pre-orders. Oh, She Who Became the Sun is coming out soon, and
Yes.
I asked the library to get that.
Yeah, I'm also really interested in that one. Also, like it's not coming out next month, but I'm still awaiting it eagerly, and that is the Veiled Throne by Ken Liu, which is the third book in the Dandelion Dynasty.
is it the final book?
No. The last book got split into two, so Veiled Throne will be out this year, and then next year is Speaking Bones, which is the last one. But they have been written, and they are just published. Like
Those are
two
chunky
books.
books.
yeah,
They're
I mean,
finished.
I read The Wall of Storms in 2017, and I have been waiting ever since.
An author finishing their chunky epic fantasy book. What a shocker.
I've never.
Okay, I will say that this isn't actually even George R. R. Martin or any of the other white dudes related. It's more of I have been waiting for 20 years for the final book in the Exiles trilogy by Melanie Ron, and I don't think it's ever going to get published at this point, but I'm waiting.
I mean, I just got the Kristen Britton book, Green Rider, and I heard that it got a new sequel this year.
Oh yeah, no,
And I'm
that
like,
series is still being published. There are multiple
What?
new books.
what? It's an old book.
Look, I just want to know what happens because Ruins of Ambrai left off in, the Mageborn Trader left off on like kind of a cliffhanger, and I desperately need to know what happens.
Okay,
But I've been
what
waiting
is
for
this?
decades at this point, and I don't know if it's ever, like I said, I don't know if it's ever actually going to happen.
Okay, has any of you heard of this series called The Earth Singer Chronicles? Because apparently a fourth book is coming out in July, and I just look at the cover and it looks gorgeous.
Who's it by?
El Penelope.
Oh, yeah, I've actually read the first book in that series. I enjoyed it, and I need to read the second book. But my main caveat is that there was the initial book, Song of Blood and Stone, published, and then when it was republished by a traditional author, or by one of the big five, it was initially self-published, she added onto it, and so there are now like two distinct plots. And for me personally, I like the plot of the newer written stuff better because I think it is better written, which makes sense if it was written later.
So
Yeah.
what you're saying is, if I want to read it, I need to pick up the trad pub version.
Yeah, don't pick up the
Got you.
The self-pub.
Okay, I'm gonna write that down.
I need to bump up the second book up my TBR because I did enjoy it, and it is something that I want to continue reading. It's just I have so many books to read.
Oh my gosh. I need to like prioritize my books and what I actually need to read because I need to figure that out. Has
Also,
anyone? Go ahead.
I was gonna say that Tasha Suri's Jasmine Throne is coming up. I need it.
It is behind me right now.
I mean, for me, anything that's out today is actually out in 3 weeks when it actually arrives at my doorstep because everyone hates Finland apparently when it comes to shipping. Folio Society stops shipping to Finland.
Really?
Because they ship to Sweden. Sweden gets Folio Society books and Finland doesn't. This is outrageous. They also stopped shipping to Estonia because of the damned Brexit. Like, how dare you?
Well, that's a bummer.
It is. Like now I need to make friends in like good friends in Britain who can send me stuff. That sucks.
Oh no. You have to socialize.
I have to socialize and network. Britain, you're making me do the thing I hate to do the most.
I need to make some Danish friends so I can get some Danish yarn.
Ooh. Mostly we just need to figure out a time when we're gonna travel to anywhere.
I mean, let's make a Nordic tour.
I'm down.
Let's rent one of those what's the word, like camper vans and go. Like we used to do that when I was a kid. Like we would start from Finland and then we drove to Sweden and then through Sweden to Norway, hung around Norway and then went to Denmark and then back to Sweden and took a ferry back to Finland.
That sounds actually really fun.
Yeah, it is, and the that is true. That is true. I have Joe in Britain. Joe lives in Britain. Joe is British. I mean, I know where people live, but I just categorize people like these are people that are on the internet.
Right.
And then there are people who are outside the internet.
You know you've met us outside of the internet, right?
I know, but it's my boxing system.
I know. I'm just teasing.
But yeah, Jasmine Throne is for me. I know A Witness for the Dead already came out in the US, but then they was it Orbit or Harper Voyager, whichever it was, I think it was Orbit, announced the paperback edition in the UK for A Witness for the Dead, and it's so much prettier than the US version. And now I'm like, do I want the hardcover edition?
I hate it.
Yeah.
Everywhere else always gets the pretty book covers, and ours are just.
Yeah, but here's the thing. I want the original, really beautiful Goblin Emperor hardcover.
Yeah.
Which is like great. And And the US version, that's a hardcover. But the British version, that's a paperback. And now I'm like, do I want the pretty cover, but a paperback that doesn't match with my gorgeous hardcover edition? Or do I want the sloppy, ugly hardcover, but it's a hardcover? Like, it's a hard decision.
I mean,
They want everybody to repurchase previous books so that they have them in the same editions. That's why they do that to us.
It's like
I
it is
don't
so
want that.
tempting, particularly for the Aporson books, because so I have the original paperbacks, but they re-released them recently, and it's just like so tempting. But then they're doing a special, I think, 25th anniversary edition of Sabriel with the original cover, and it's like, I don't need another edition.
I loved the original covers.
I
of
like the
Aporson
originals
books.
too.
And
I've been getting the Sabriel Aporson books in like second hand, so I'm just grabbing any edition.
mhm.
So I have the hardcover editions. Like I have Sabriel and I have Abhorsen, and I don't have the ones in between.
Yeah. But what were you saying, Rachel?
I don't remember.
I'm sorry.
I was talking about covers.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, it is. I will say also in terms of like publishing stuff, for Sean McGuire's Encrypted series, they're switching to trade paperback with the one being published next year, and I'm so annoyed because it's not going to match.
Okay, here's the thing. I went and bought the Becky Chambers Galaxy in a Ground Within. It doesn't match my paperbacks. It's taller. Also, I accidentally bought the wrong edition of A Desolation Called Peace. It's a hardcover, but it doesn't match the hardcover I have for Memory Called Empire because it's a little taller. And now I'm like, fuck it. I don't even care. I don't even care if they match.
I can deal if they're a little taller just because sometimes weird stuff happens. But for me, it's like, I get so annoyed when they switch covers. So like, for example, the Claudia Gray's Defy the Fates, Defy the Worlds, those books. So the first hardback cover, I absolutely hate it. It looks so ugly. And so for the paperback, they redid it, and then they used that same style for the other books. And so, like, I have the paperback for the first one. I need to get the paperback for the second one, but then they canceled publication for the paperback for the third one because it was going to happen in 2020, and 2020 was a shit show. And so I'm just like, well, I'm going to be stuck with two paperbacks and a hardcover, which is going to annoy me.
Mm-hmm.
They did that with Rosario Munda's Fireborn, I think, as well, where the first, like, I mean, I wasn't a big, like, I don't have a horse in that race, but I can understand, like, if you have, like, the first book in a particular series and then the next books in the series go in a completely different artistic direction. Like what happened with Amberlow. The first cover by Nevo was absolutely, not Nevo, what? Victor Nye. Oh my God, my brain. Victor Nye.
Actually,
the first cover was so great.
I actually prefer the new covers, and it's partially because of my longer rant about how Tor deeply mishandled marketing Amberlow, because they were marketing Amberlow as cabaret, and with the cover, for me, it evoked like what we think of like musicals and fun, and not like the darker aspects of cabaret in that it takes place in the final days of the Weimar Republic. And so I think for me, the newer covers do a better job of conveying the tone.
For me, I actually am of the complete opposite. Like I feel like the Victor Nye cover really sells the darker atmosphere. Like for me, that's just my personal opinion. That cover looks more sinister, whereas the covers that replaced it in the other printings are more like Art Nouveau and
Yeah,
like
we're
look
talking
at
about
this,
Art
look
Deco,
at
Art
this.
Nouveau.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're kind of bland, and there's no like people on the cover. Yeah, I think if they continued with Victor Nye as a cover artist, they could still have gone in a darker direction with it. Yeah.
I mean, I still think that with in terms of marketing, Tor shit the bed with the with those books, because like the first book got pretty decent hype and people read it and people liked it, but complained about the darkness of it and how it relates to the marketing, and then you don't see anyone reading the second and third books.
Well,
I haven't read them either, but it's like more to do with other things. I still want to read them though.
And it's something I think we've discussed before, that Tor I was like, they're bad at marketing things that without saying like, oh, this is a delightful romp, or this is like, they use romp a lot, and
They do.
don't.
Yeah, I've started to hate romp.
They don't do a good job of talking about like when some of their books are darker, like Gideon the Ninth. Like everyone's like, oh, lesbian necromancers in space, and like it's so witty. And studied books, I studied the Blade, like that type of thing. But they didn't really talk about like how dark it is, and like any of that. And it's consistent with a lot of how they talk about books. And I don't know if I think it's like just such a problem with their marketing, where I honestly don't trust what they say when they talk about books. Like I have to read reviews or talk to people about the books. Can I?
Sorry. I'm sorry.
But it's to the point where I don't trust their marketing department, because they have a history of downplaying darker parts of the stories.
Which is fair.
I'm done.
I'm just wondering if part of it is that they are, because they do a lot of their marketing on social media, and I wonder if if part of it is that they are so, especially on Twitter, that they are kind of too in tune with the way book Twitter especially tends to operate. So they are afraid to actually give, like, say that this book has troubling content, because of the way book Twitter tends to latch on to things and sort of sometimes even dogpile on authors for including content that is darker.
So we are running up on time. I would suggest that we wrap up. Unless everybody in the viewing wants us to go for like 6 hours.
No,
Not going to happen because I need to go eat something.
I also want ice cream, which I have.
Oh, that sounds so good right now.
And Di is well overdue for her cool bath.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, let's start with Rachel.
What are we doing? What's next?
What's next for you, and where can people find you?
You can find me over at my channel, Colonati, and I will be doing my third quarter anticipated releases video today, unless I take a nap, and then it will be up on Monday.
Okay, Rhea.
Hi, hey, hello. No, wait, that's Jess Owens's. Wait, what? I am going to post my May wrap-up sometime next week, and then probably my June wrap-up. There's gonna be wrap-ups coming, and other than that, I don't have any plans. My channel actually might be a little bit quieter in July because, as I said, I'm starting a new job, so it depends on how I do there.
Understandable, yeah. I'm thinking about taking some time off in July as well. Like, I just kind of want a vacation from everything, including the video schedule. So,
just fair.
Yeah.
Di?
You can find me at Bookish Die. I will probably do a quarter two book haul in addition to a June wrap up and maybe the mid-year freakout tag. I haven't decided if I want to do that one or not.
Okay. And you guys are already on my channel, which is Bree Reads Books. I don't know what's coming up. My life's been a little hectic right now in preparing for all of the big life changes. So, but thank you all for joining us, and we will see you next time where we will be on
Rachel's channel.
Rachel's channel.
Okay.
Yes. Well, last month we were on mine, so next month it's your turn.
Make sure to pick up Bro Wolf.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes.
Are we
Browolf.
gonna try and
Hashtag
read-
Browolf.
Are we going to try and read the full thing or just like start reading it and then finish it up in August?
I think start reading it and finish it in August is probably fine.
Cool.
I mean, it probably depends on what length it is.
Yeah, and
Like,
what the
I haven't
August
opened
like.
the file yet.
Me either.
I've saved a lot of the files, but I haven't like loaded them onto my e-reader yet.
Which is fair.
Yeah.
I personally will probably have the entire thing read by the next Stitch and Bitch, so
Yeah.
I'll be ready to discuss it.
I mean, I have this chunker to read, and then I'm probably going to go into Ship of Destiny right after this one, which is an equally big chunker. So I'm probably gonna start Browolf. I have no
Well, apparently
promises
it's
about
about
finishing
4
it.
hours.
On audio.
It's on
Terrible.
audio.
Oh, well, that's not too bad.
Yeah, no.
Well, it makes sense. It's an older work.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, we'll see. If I can get it finished in this upcoming month, I will get it finished.
Okay.
Okay. All right, everyone. Thank you for joining us, and we will see you next time.
Bye.
Bye bye.
Bye.